Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the computer languages. That how many types of computer languages is there, what is computer language, and what is low level language, high level language, machine language, assembly language. We are going to learn today. Now first thing, what is computer language? As we know that whenever we have to communicate with each other, we have different type of languages like Hindi, English, and many type of languages are there. We use that language to communicate with each other. But whenever we have to communicate with computer, so there are computer languages for that. So what is computer languages? Computer language is a language through which we can communicate with the computer. We can give the instruction to the computer so that computer will perform the particular task. Now, how many types of computer languages are there? Mainly two types of computer languages are there: low level language and high level language. Low level language and high level language. So first we are going to discuss about the low level language. Low level language are basically use the binary codes to give the instruction to the computer. Only expert can give the instruction in the binary code. So in the beginning time, it is very difficult for the common people to understand all the low level languages, because we have to give the instruction into the machine language, and machine language, binary code 0 and 1. All the instruction we give from the 0 1 0 1 0 1. So it is very difficult to understand that thing. But there only low level language are of two types. First one is machine level language and second one is assembly level language. Machine level language and assembly level language. So what is machine level language? I already discussed that machine level language, the code written in the machine language only. Machine language means the binary form, that is 0 and 1. So whatever the instruction we have to give it to the computer in machine level language only. But in assembly level language, we started using the mnemonic code. Mnemonic code means what? Some symbols will be there, and that symbol through the assembler it converted into the machine language, and the computer start understanding that code. For example, what is mnemonic code? For example, LDA. LDA means the assembler understand that enter the value of A. Another example, LDB. It means enter the value of B. Like that, symbols we use at that time only. Okay. So one question is there, what the computer can understand assembly language directly? No. That time translator is required to convert the assembly language into the machine language. So first you have to write the code into the assembly language, and then through the assembler it convert into the machine language, and then computer understand this. Is it clear? Low level language, machine level language, and assembly language. Assembly language converted into machine language through the assembler. Assembly language uses the mnemonic codes and convert into the machine language. So little bit it is easy and to understand and write the programs. In comparison to machine level language, assembly language is easier than the machine language, because machine level language uses the machine code, which is very difficult to write, but assembly level language uses the mnemonic codes, which is little bit understandable. Now, high level language, HLL. High level language is the language which is written through the simple English word. Means if you want to write the program, use the simple English word to write the program, and through the compiler and interpreter it will be converted into the machine language. So it is easy to understand and easy to write also, so that many students and many professionals use high level language because it is easy to understand, it is easy to write, and simply you can say high level language is a simple English word that we will use to write the program. Now, for example, Java, C, C++, Python, these are the high level languages. So we are going to learn about the Java. So Java is a high level language which we use simple English word, and through the compiler and interpreter we convert this into the machine language. High level language also categorized in two parts, POP and OOP. POP, procedural oriented program, and object oriented program. Procedural object oriented program and object oriented program. Procedural oriented program mainly focus on the function. Okay, the stress given by this POP is on the function, and this OOP give the stress at the time of writing program on the data. So simply both are the methodology to write the programs. It uses the function, it uses the data to write the in a stipulated code within a stipulated area. But here it can flow thoroughly or throughout the program easily. In object oriented program, because we know that Java is an object oriented program, so we have to learn about the object oriented program, that what is object oriented programming. Object oriented programming is a methodology which relates object from the real world entity. What is the definition? Object oriented programming is a methodology which relates objects from the real world entities. Now, real world objects, whatever the objects you see everyday type like pen, paper, lion, tiger, all are the real world objects. So if you will use this type of objects in the programming, so it will be called software objects. And if you are using in the real world, so it simply it is an object. In the next chapter, in chapter 3, we will discuss everything about the objects and classes. Now, today we are going to learn about the feature of OOP, or basic principle of OOP. Basic principle of OOP. So there are 4 principles of OOP: data abstraction, inheritance, encapsulation, and polymorphism. So what is data abstraction? Data abstraction, I will show all these 4 features in the coming chapter through the Java program, but now only you understand the theoretical concept of these things. We can implement these things through the Java program in the programming term, but here we are going to understand the basic theoretical part of this particular data abstraction, inheritance, encapsulation, and polymorphism. Data abstraction. Data abstraction means it will provide only the relevant information. Relevant information means what? I want to give one example. Suppose you are going to buy a television. Now the shopkeeper will show you different type of TV, and he explain everything about the remote, that how to control the TV with remote, how to change the volume, how to change the channel, how to change the configure the screen, setting of the screen, and many things he explained you. But he doesn't explain you about the working process, that when you will click this particular button, then why the sound will increase or why the volume will increase, because that is non-essential things for that particular remote. Understand? So you know how to control the TV with remote, but you don't know how it works. Understood? So what is data abstraction? It given you the complete package to control the TV, but how it works that you don't know. This is the example of data abstraction. One more example. Suppose you have a digital camera, you know how to take a snap, how to clip the things, how to record the things, but how it works that you don't know. It means if you are not knowing the technology of that particular digital camera, but still you are able to use that. So this is the data abstraction. Data abstraction means it will give you the relevant information but hide the non-essential information, or non-essential information it will not show there. The background details it will hide. Okay. So understood the data abstraction. Okay. Now inheritance. This is the very important feature of the object-oriented programming. The main principle, if I can say, then inheritance is very important feature of the OOP, because code reusability is provided by the inheritance. How? So in one line you can say the definition of inheritance, that to create a new class by using some feature of existing class. Means one class is already exists, and by using some feature of that particular existing class you are going to create a new class. So what will be the benefit? In first class, suppose some data will be there, that data can be used into the another class. So what is this? Code reusability. Again and again the same thing you don't have to define. Through this OOP you can use that particular declared thing, variables and functions which is declared inside a particular class, you can use into the other class also. So this is all about the inheritance. Now encapsulation. Encapsulation means it wrap the system of wrapping the data and function into a particular unit. It restricts the users of particular So simply you can say that encapsulation restricts the free flow of data from one object to another object. What you can say about the encapsulation? Encapsulation means it restricts the free flow of data from one object to another object. So if I will see the definition of book that is given in your particular book, the definition is the system of wrapping data and function into a single unit is known as encapsulation. So it restricts the things so that you cannot use outside that particular parenthesis or particular restriction area. So this is all about the encapsulation. Now, polymorphism. As name suggests, poly and morphism. Poly and morphs, two word is there. Poly means many, and morphs means form. Means a object is there which having the different forms. For example, you can take an example of woman. Same time, she is a sister, mother, wife, daughter. Means one object woman is here, and same time she can work as a sister, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter. So one object having different form and different places. So if one function will be there, suppose one function will be there, area. This area is a function, a particular function is area. You can calculate the area of a rectangle, area of a square, area of circle. So what happened? One object is there, one function is there. That function is used for the different purpose in different places. So in one line you can say polymorphism is important feature of important principle of object oriented programming, which having the many forms. One object having the many forms. I will explain this through the Java program. Okay, how we can implement this in the Java program? Through the function overloading. One concept is there, function overloading, through which we will explain polymorphism so that you will understand easily. So today up to here only. Next class I will discuss about software objects, classes and all those things. Thank you.